was really bad.
Yeah, I was a little late on that. So welcome back. We're on to the SEC East for over/under win totals. This is our last over/under win totals video. I mean, we could do just miscellaneous teams, but I don't have any of those stat sheets ready, so I don't think so.
All right. Well, we've got the SEC East starting with the defending national champions, the Georgia Bulldogs, starting against number 11 Oregon. Oregon playing Stanford, and then starting their SEC play at South Carolina before going on the road or coming back home to play the team that is not a state in Kent State. Before going on the road to Missouri, and then having 2 home games against Auburn and Vanderbilt. For taking the bye before going into the neutral site battle against Florida, and then welcoming Tennessee at home before going on the road against Mississippi State and Kentucky, before finishing off the season against Georgia Tech. And I already put the SEC championship game on there as well, because I think this team's going 12-0 in the regular season. I don't really see lose to, besides, maybe like Kentucky trips them up a little bit, gives them a fight, or Florida gives them more than a fight than they usually do, but I didn't even say what their win total was. What's their win total? Win total is 10.5. Yeah, give me the over.
Yeah, I have over for Georgia as well. I have the defending champs going undefeated in the regular season. A lot of their defense is gone from last season, but they still have a good offense with the mailman Stenson Bennett still in at QB, and fantastic tight end Brock Bowers still in town. Now they did lose their running back duo in James Cook and Zamir White, so we'll have to see how that works out for Georgia, because that was a big reason why they were successful last year, because they had good receivers too. While their offense wasn't necessarily like the heart of their team, they had George Pickens, Jermaine Burton, Brock Bowers all as receivers. Bowers is a tight end, but they were all guys who could catch the ball. And then you had a good running back duo of James Cook, Dalvin Cook's younger brother, and Zamir White. But now you've lost 4 of those guys, and the only 2 guys left are Bennett and Bowers. So we'll see how that works. But I still think with the schedule they have, Oregon at a neutral site, more of a home game, but neutral site should be interesting. At South Carolina could be a tricky game with Spencer Rattler and company. Other than really that, the only close games I see them maybe having are the neutral site in Jacksonville, Jaguar Stadium against Florida, and then at Kentucky. Other than that, this team should comfortably win every game on their schedule.
All right, what do you have next?
Next for me is
Interesting. Okay. All right, we'll go to Florida Gators next. We've got the Florida Gators. They will start the season against number 7 Utah, and before starting SEC play against number 20 Kentucky, and then playing South Florida at home before going on the road to Tennessee, and then playing an easy stretch of games against Eastern Washington, Missouri, and LSU all at home before the neutral site game against Georgia, on the road against Texas A&M before taking on South Carolina at Vanderbilt, and then finishing the year as usual at Florida State. Florida, I have the road total pulled up. Florida is a round 7. I have Florida over at 8-4. I have their losses being Tennessee, Georgia A&M, and Florida State narrowly. Though I think it's going to be a toss-up between if they lose the Florida State game or the Utah game. But I do have them solidly as an 8-4 team. I have a good amount of games at home that are going to be easy. So give me Florida over at 8-4.
Yeah, I have over for the Florida Gators, as I have them at 9-3. So I have one more win for Florida. I have they win their first 3 games for me, all closer games, as you can see, as they beat Utah by 5, 21-16. They beat Kentucky by 2, 26-24. They easily knock off USF, and then they finally have a letdown on the road when they have to play Tennessee. I could see Florida still winning that game, but considering the rough part of their schedule, I think they get a little burned out and they have a letdown. But then they throttle some teams on their way back around, and then they'll take 2 straight losses to Georgia, Texas A&M. But other than that, I have them winning the rest. They go 9-3. They have their game against Florida State being very close. They win that one by 1. It is a rivalry game, and it is at Doak Campbell, so I think that's definitely going to be a fun game to see. But I have still the Gators winning that one on the road.
All right, and who do you got next?
Next, I have the Kentucky Wildcats.
Wow, okay. All right, so we've got the Kentucky Wildcats. Where are they? Here they are. The number 20 ranked Kentucky Wildcats. They will be starting the season against Miami of Ohio and then on the road against Florida before taking on Youngstown State and Northern Illinois. Before going on the road against Ole Miss and then having both at home or going on the road to Tennessee. While finishing the season with a 3-game homestand against Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Louisville. Their win total is a solid 8. I have them. Now I gotta think. I have them as a push, lean, under. Lean. It's really between that game. I have them as a push, lean. God, I have them push, lean. I think I have them as a push, lean, under. I think they're going to be a solidly 8-14. So the only reason I say lean under is because I think it's more likely they lose the game at Missouri than they win the game at Tennessee. I have them beating Florida, losing to Florida, losing to Ole Miss, losing to Tennessee, and losing to Georgia. So I have them as a push lean under. I think they could, again, I think they're more likely to lose and trip up at Missouri than they are to win at Tennessee because I really do like Tennessee this year. I really like Hendon Hooker. Don't necessarily like their backup, so, if Hendon Hooker gets injured, then Tennessee's the rails are gonna fall off. Sorry, but your backup can throw the football out of the stadium. So I have them solidly as an 8-14. Again, could win one, could lose one, but I guess I have them as a push lean under.
Yeah, for me, I have this Kentucky team as over, as I have them at 9-4 or 9-3. I'm sorry.
Well, let's say, wait a minute.
9-4. I'm already predicting a bowl game for them. No, I have them as over at 9-3. I have their losses. I have the same losses as Herbensky, except I have them winning at Tennessee. As you'll quickly figure out, I'm not exactly the biggest Volunteers guy. But I think Tennessee's okay, but they're not that special in my opinion. But this Kentucky team is solid. What I really like about Kentucky is they bring back their QB. They bring back Will Levis. I love Will Levis. This guy is a very good quarterback. Transfer from Penn State. When I saw him playing at Penn State, I thought he was miles better than Sean Clifford. I'm like, what is Penn State doing with starting Sean Clifford? They should have this guy in. And, of course, since they wouldn't put him in, he decided, okay, I'll transfer to Kentucky. He's already on list to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft. At Penn State, I think you should get with the trend here. Sean Clifford's not your guy. But I really like Will Levis. The thing for them is they are losing Wandale Robinson, their number 1 receiver. So we'll see if Kentucky is able to recover from losing a top receiver and their top defender. They lost Pascal, too. Now our home Detroit Lion. Not out for the year, too. I think he had some surgery of some sort. But Kentucky is a solid team. I think they'll have a solid year. They could go under 9-3, but I think this is the likelihood for them is a solid 9-3 year. Just behind Georgia and Florida.
Who do you have next?
Tennessee.
Okay.
No. They're not that bad.
They have a pretty easy schedule, which is why I have them on here. They start the season against Ball State before going on the road to take on Pitt. Then they play Akron and Florida before going on the road to LSU and then taking on Alabama. And then they play UT Martin and number 20 Kentucky before going on the road to Georgia, playing home against Missouri, at South Carolina, and Vanderbilt. Their win total is at 7.5. I have a solid over that. I have them as a 9-3 team with a chance to probably be 8-4. It's mainly because I think it's mainly the biggest difference for me is I'm not a big Pitt fan. I don't think Pitt's going to be that great of a team this year. So I'm taking Tennessee to beat Pitt just because I don't I don't like Keaton Slovis. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. I think they could lose that game, and they could also lose at LSU, but I don't see them losing against UT Martin. I don't see them losing at home against either Florida or Kentucky. Maybe Kentucky. I have their losses as a slight loss at South Carolina, and then Georgia and Alabama. I don't know. It's not even that I think this team's that amazing. I just don't like the other teams that they're playing more than anything. So I think Hendon Hooker's a pretty good quarterback. So even though he might have struggled in the bowl game, I think he's a pretty good quarterback. So I will take Tennessee at least at minimum 8-4, but 7-5 is pretty low. I don't see them going 7-5.
So you're going 8-4.
I have them as 9-3.
Oh, 9-3. Yeah, okay.
But I think their floor technically, I think their floor is 7-5. But I think the realistic floor is 8-4.
Yeah, so I do have Tennessee as under. I have them 7-5. This Tennessee team is okay. I know Stravinsky loves Hendon Hooker. I personally do not. This is the same guy who could barely beat out Joe Milton. And I've watched Hendon Hooker play transfer from Virginia Tech. I'm not really impressed. I think he's okay. I think this Tennessee team isn't bad necessarily, but I think on the road at Pitt is going to be too much for them. At LSU is going to be too much for them. And then you got Bama, Kentucky, Florida. And I don't really, or not Florida, Bama, Kentucky, Georgia. And I don't really see them winning those games either. So I have 7-5.
Fair enough. I would assume South Carolina next.
Yes.
Okay. You've got the open Georgia State before going on the road to Arkansas and playing Georgia. That is a brutal two games in a row. And then
Yeah.
You got Charlotte and big rival South Carolina State. Before going on the road to Kentucky and then playing Texas A&M, before going and playing Missouri at home, and then on the road against Vanderbilt and on the road against Florida before playing Tennessee, and then ending the season on the road at Clemson. South Carolina's win total is going to be a solid 6, and I'm going to have it as a push lean. I'm going to have them as a push lean under. I think the possibility of 5 and 7. No, I'm gonna push lean over because I think they can lose. No, wait, that would mean they'd be push lean under. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have them as a push lean under. I think it's more likely that they lose to Tennessee than they beat Vanderbilt, or than they lose to Vanderbilt. Wait, I'm just gonna have them as a push lean under. I think they're a 6 team. Right now, I have their losses as Clemson, Florida, Kentucky, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Arkansas. So I have them as a 6-6 team. I think it's more likely that I don't think they win any of those games. They're losing. So yeah, it would be a push lead under. I think they could lose the Tennessee game or the Vanderbilt game. I don't think they will, but yeah, I have them as a push lead under. 6-6.
Yeah, I do have South Carolina going under. Just barely though. I have them at 5 and 7. I have the wins as Georgia State, Charlotte, South Carolina, Missouri, and Vandy, and then they lose all the other games. This South Carolina team, we'll see what happens with Spencer Rattler in at quarterback. They also brought over his tight end as well. But really, other than that, the South Carolina team doesn't have much. I could definitely see them getting a bowl game, but other than 6-6, maybe that's about it.
I would assume you have Missouri next.
That is correct.
And now we go on to the Missouri Tigers, who start the season against Louisiana Tech before going on the road to Kansas State. Then they play Abilene Christian and at Auburn before going back home to play Georgia, and then at home against and then on the road against Florida before taking their bye week before going on the road playing at home to Vanderbilt, then going on the road to South Carolina. On and off. Going back home to play Kentucky, then going back on the road to play Tennessee before ending on a 2-game homestand against New Mexico State and Arkansas. The win total is 5.5. I have them going under at 4 and 8. I have their wins being New Mexico State, Vanderbilt, Abilene Christian, and Louisiana Tech. I think the only Big Ten or SEC team they beat is Vanderbilt, and even that after what they did to Hawaii, I'm not confident. I don't think this Missouri team's that good. So I think they're decent defensively, but.
So what did you? So what was the over under, and what did you have?
5.5.
5.5, and you had 4, and you had 4-8. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I think I have them as 5-7, but let me see. I got 3. No. 1,
You'd have to pick them to go bowling to go over. That's ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I have under. I have 5-7. I'm sorry. Or no, wait. That's under. I have 5-7 for them. This is a decent team. They have one good recruit as they brought in Luther Bolden. Really good wide receiver, but really other than that, they don't have much else. So I probably the only game that I have winning that you probably don't is at Kansas State. I have them winning that. Other than that, though, I probably have the same as you. But 5-7, I think they'll be just short of a bowl game. I think that's fair for Missouri. They could lose to Kansas State, but I have them going 5-7.
Commodores actually already played a game obliterating Hawaii 63-10 in Hawaii. Now then they go on. Then they play Elon and Wake Forest at home before going on the road to Northern Illinois and Alabama before playing Ole Miss at home before going back on the road against Georgia and Missouri before playing South Carolina at home on the road against Kentucky, Florida, and Tennessee. Vanderbilt's win total is at 2.5. You asked me before Saturday, I would say they're going under. You asked me after Saturday, I say they hit their win total before the month of September. I think obviously they win next week against Elon. I think they lose against Wake Forest, but I do think they can edge it out on the road against Northern Illinois. I mean, if they won by 53 points on the road against Hawaii, I think they have a good shot at Northern Illinois to make an upset happen. I think it'll be a close game. And then I have them losing every SEC game. I think maybe they could make it competitive with South Carolina and Missouri, but other than that, I have them now as a 3-19, which would be over win total of 2.5.
Yeah, all right, and I will still have them as under. I have their only other win is Elon. I have them losing every other game.
It's really if you think they can beat Northern Illinois or
not. Yeah, can they beat Rocky Lombardi or not?
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be sad if they couldn't. If Vandy couldn't beat Rocky Lombardi. If they still have Lombardi, I don't know if they even do anymore. But this is not a good Vandy team. Still surprised that they just smacked the crap out of Hawaii on the road. But I think they're obviously not getting. Actually, 2-5 or the 2.5 over under might be close for them. But I'll probably still have them as under because I just don't like Vandy teams. They just are always bad.
I can't blame you, but I don't know. Just after seeing that was ridiculous what they did. They just absolutely slaughtered Hawaii.
I'm beginning to think it's more of Hawaii's just that bad than Vanderbilt's just that good.
I think Hawaii's that bad, but I also think to win 63-10, I do think you have to have some semblance of being a decent team. If you're gonna win by 53 points, you have to at least be good.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
In some way. Like if it was like a 27-13 win, I'd be like, yeah, Vanderbilt's probably not that good. It's just Hawaii's bad. But I mean, you put up 63 points against anybody. But that's a non-FCS team. This is the team that lost to an FCS team last year. So to go from losing to an FCS team to smacking Hawaii on the road, that's a pretty big upgrade.
Yeah.
Pretty big upgrade. Good job, Vanderbilt fans. 15-0 season incoming. I'm already calling it 15. Vanderbilt 15-0, the best. All right. Well, this was our. I'm Jacob. Go watch our week 1 video and enjoy week 1. We have all of our over-under win totals. Tell us which one was the absolute stupidest one that we said, because I'm sure there's many of them. Great rest of your day. Peace.
Adios, everyone.